Alright, YouTube, it's me, David Harry, your favourite YouTuber and vlogger. Right, in this video, I'm going to show you my new hat, which, by the way, I call this my cat. Now, that was MicHat, not my cat. So, MicHat, right? Check out my hat here. How cool does my hat look? Ooh. Now, I know there's probably some of you out there thinking, Jesus Christ, on a bike, that guy's finally lost it. He's tipped right over the edge and he ain't coming back. Right? What it is, I've not actually lost it or anything, funny enough. And I know this looks crazy right now. However, when I explain to you why I'm doing this, it may not sound so mad. Okay, so what it is, for some time now, I've been trying to get a microphone in a position for doing my off-camera video, because of course you wouldn't go on camera looking like this now, would you? Well, I mean, I would right now, obviously, to demonstrate the thing, but in general use, like, you're not going to do this because it looks too mad. Anyway, so what it is, for my close mic VO stuff, when I do my rostrum shots or when I do my screen grabs and stuff like that, what it is, I have another one of these microphones which is on a boom. In fact, give me a moment. Okay, so what we're looking at now then is my usual position for my rostrum shots. So as we can see, I've got another one of these mics up here. Now this just kind of booms in over the top, and what I try and do is just get it in like the most appropriate position for like picking up my voice, because of course the thing with any of these types of like close mic positions is to get the capsule as close to my mouth as possible, basically to give me the cleanest dialogue and stuff and the best pickup. But also, the closer it gets to my mouth, like it knocks out more of the room ambience and stuff like that, which is really what I want, because I want that more kind of like dead sound when I do these types of things. But nonetheless, what it is, this can actually change position, so this might go up and down and stuff depending upon what's on the table. Anyway, so I could be looking at something here and I've got my hands in the shot, and then, you know, I'm doing all this thing, talking about what I'm doing and what have you. But then sometimes I might have to pull away to one side, you see, because whatever's in the frame, there could be something over here, and I might have to look at what's on the table more. And especially more so if the camera is kind of raised higher and stuff, then I'm, you know, I've got more of a field of view that I'm playing with. And then what I might do is I might kind of like dip back in again like that and start doing stuff. Now, you might be listening to this and thinking, but Dave, you know, it's not really that different, like, you know, the kind of level and stuff, like whether you're looking down at the table like that, or whether you're looking straight at the microphone, or maybe you're off to one side because you got something else on the table in a wider field of view. Or maybe I might, and sometimes that's it, I might have to sneak around this side as well and see what I'm doing on this side of the frame and whatnot. But what happens is the microphone has got a cardioid pattern, or more precisely, let's call it a cardioid bubble. So if you can imagine a bubble that kind of comes out like this around here, well, when you're inside that bubble, like, you know, the most optimum position, everything's probably going to be picked up fine. But depending upon the mic, I mean, this one's quite good because it's only a cardioid, not a super or hyper. But what happens is once you start kind of moving slightly to one side of the cardioid bubble, then yeah, things can kind of drop off quite quickly and stuff like that. And like I say, it just depends how high I've got the camera, how wide the field of view is on the table, and whether or not I've got to get down and kind of look closely at stuff on the table. Because sometimes it's like computer components or parts and stuff, and I have to get right in and kind of go like, oh yeah, because I need to see properly what's going on as well as the camera as well. Anyway, that basically is what I'm doing, which is why that goes on me head. Okay, so as you can see there, then that is the usual position for me with this microphone. But unfortunately, what happens, as I've just probably said there, if I just move around ever so slightly and stuff, what happens is the cardioid bubble that you fall within for the mic's cardioid pattern, you can kind of drift in and out of that and stuff. So when I'm looking down on the table at things and doing stuff, you know what I mean, with like, you know, the camera and the mic and all that there, what happens is I can sometimes go slightly off axis or slightly outside that cardioid bubble. And then what happens is me kind of voice kind of drops slightly in level. Now, when I do do those types of things, especially for my main channel, because that's all kind of like, proper, how-tos and stuff like that, or proper boring how-tos for YouTube. What happens with that stuff, I like to have my voice like mega consistent. Now, I do use a limiter in post and stuff like that, which does help for that type of stuff, but I just think naturally for the recording itself, I want to try and get it as solid as possible without any variation, in the actual level. I mean, as for instance, what I'm going to do here, although my chair's dead creaky, right, what it is, I was going to say the screw's missing on the chair, but the chair's just like me, right? What it is, if I move around like this, I mean, this would definitely be way too much. Obviously, if you got a mic up here and you're falling in and out of that cardioid bubbled area and stuff like that. But as you can hear right now, there's probably no differences where I am for time. Oh, I'm okay. There's probably no differences, to the tone of my voice and stuff. Well, not so much the tone of my voice, because different things will be reflected as I move around. So tonally, it could change possibly a little bit due to the characteristics of the room interfering at different points and positions as I move. However, my actual kind of like level and dialogue should remain pretty much static. So just going back to that overhead position thing there, like I say, sometimes what it is, I have to kind of like dip in a little bit closer to see what I'm looking at and stuff, or sometimes like, the camera height might change and therefore the mic position might go somewhere else, in which case, if I'm trying to look at the screen as well and then look down, just the simple thing of doing this and just looking at the screen and then looking down like that, that can obviously alter ever so slightly. Anyway, I've done enough blabbering here in order for you to get a good idea of what's going on, and I think I've explained it dead well. So hopefully at the start of the video, when people were going, oh, what's that prick up to? Right now, you're probably thinking, oh, actually, that prick's got a pretty good idea there. And let's see if anybody's going to copy me. Or if anybody does do this, let me know and let me know how you get on with it. Now, just the last thing, actually, is how I've got this all connected and stuff. So actually, what I'm going to do is try and cut away to something and explain briefly what it is. So this headband thing that I've got on here is one of those things you use to mount a GoPro onto your head. And then what I've done, I've just used like a 1/4-20 male to male to put on one end of something, and then put that into a mic clip, and then the mic just slips into the clip, and then I put the whole thing on my head. Okay, so I think, yeah, that should defo do for it. Oh, no, it won't actually, sorry. And one last thing, just give us a sec. What it is, I'm not going to stand up, and you know the reason why? I'm in me undies. I'm basically half naked here, and you can't see it, but I'm not going to stand up and prove it. Right, give me 1 second just while I throw this dead cat on. Okay, so the dead cat's on now. Now, I'm not entirely sure if I would have been plosive in the microphone, only because I'm still kind of trying to like check positions here and stuff and all the rest of it. But nonetheless, this is what it sounds like with the dead cat on. Now, the tone may have changed ever so slightly. And when I say tone, I don't mean Tone from Tone's Adventures. But the tone may have changed ever so slightly. However, the net result is still the same. This is going to allow me to like move about and stuff and whatnot. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it like this excessively, when I'm just looking at something on the table. But nonetheless, as I've already explained, those small kind of movements can sometimes screw things up and what have you. But nonetheless, anyway, how does it sound with the dead cat on? And if I was plosive and before, this should definitely have got rid of the plosives. Anyways, that will probably do it for this video, because just like most of the videos that I do, where I do modifications or do like, out of the box things with microphones, I don't get any views on these videos and no one gives a toss anyway. Alright, so I'm diving off. I'm David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.